Well, let's turn away from that to the US because hope is fading there of finding more survivors of the flash floods in Texas. At least 100 people died after the Guadalupe River swelled more than 26 feet in an hour following the heavy rains. The president says he plans to visit Texas on Friday. In the last hour or so, the authorities have held a news conference. Let's go to BBC's Carl Nasman, who's been closely following what was said in that news briefing. He is there on the ground in Texas for us. And Carl, let's start with what officials have been saying in the last little while. An update on casualty numbers and the numbers that they are still searching for.
Yeah, we did get some updates on the number of people that sadly have passed away due to these floods. It's now over 100. That makes it even more deadly than what we saw after Hurricane Harvey back in 2017 here. Really one of the deadliest flooding incidents in a long time that we've seen here in the country. We also know that where we are right now, Kerr County, this has seen the lion's share of the destruction and of the deaths here. Now 87 people confirmed dead in this county alone. That does include 30 children. And of course, we've all heard about Camp Mystic, that camp which was a little ways actually down the river from where we are now. Yesterday, they had said that they were looking for 10 girls and 1 counselor that were still missing. Today, they've said that those numbers have dropped down to 5 children and 1 counselor. So as you mentioned, hope is beginning to fade of finding any survivors at this point now on the 5th day. You can probably see behind me here, Matthew, actually some of the activity taking place where we are right here along the banks of the Guadalupe River. And this just gives you a sense of the level of destruction and the power of those floodwaters as they pass through here over the holiday weekend. You know, this entire area where we're standing was filled with water. And actually where we are, this was a RV park, mobile homes. Several of them were parked all along the banks here. None of those are left. All you can see now are the twisted metal remains scattered along here. And you can see several different points here, heavy machinery working to clear some of that out. And that is just all part of the efforts that are taking place today up and down the river, really. You mentioned that press conference. We did get some updates about the actual search and rescue efforts, which are continuing today. We heard from Lieutenant Colonel Ben Baker of the Texas Game Wardens, and he talked about just how difficult that search and rescue operation is.
We've got numerous responders with specialized capabilities where we've got these large pile of debris. And with our canines and you know, when we're trying to make these recoveries, these large piles can be very obstructive. And to get deep into these piles, it's very hazardous. And those specialized teams have to go in there layer by layer because our first responders, also the safety of them is concerned. So it's extremely treacherous, time consuming, it's dirty work, the water's still there. So we're having to go layer by layer, peeling these off to make those recoveries.
Yeah, so that's the latest that we know from officials. And really now we're also starting to hear more and more questions from reporters and from people that live here about how exactly this happened. Why were there so many people here that were affected by those floods? Were there enough warnings in time? Where we're standing, actually, I was talking to the owner of the property here, and she describes this scene where actually she didn't get a warning. She came out and had to start evacuating people from the mobile homes that were here on her own. So that's going to be a focus, I think, in the next couple of days, looking at the local response and the state response. You know, why is it that some people might have gotten a warning and others, including those campers, those girls, many of them who have passed away, why didn't they get those warnings? So there's still a lot of questions to be answered here, Matthew.
Yes, that is a very live political issue. Carl Nasman, thanks for the latest there from Texas.